Orioles attack. But the bullpen couldn't hold the one-run lead, allowing an all-too-familiar veteran to clear the bases in the 8th. Taylor Jordan looks for a little more support. It's Tuesday Night Baseball from Nationals Park. Well, it's a nice night at the ballpark. Some weather has moved on through. We've got a beautiful rainbow way out in right field. Here's the lineup tonight. And look who's the cleanup guy, Anthony Rendon. Some changes for Matt Williams with Taylor Jordan on the mound. And it was Raul Ibanez, that old Nats tormentor, who did it again last night. So, last 4 starts. Guys out of the gate, the starters have been pretty good, not giving up much, just looking for some run support to win some games.
Yeah, they're kind of rocky early on in the season, the 5 starters, but they've locked it in recently. We always talk about how it all starts in the middle, and you look at the last 4 starts combined for the Nats. The one thing that's kind of disheartening right there, Gio Gonzalez, the only win in the bunch. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 7, but Jordan went 7 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, only 1 of them earned. And Strasburg, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 9 K, and you know what Tanner Roark did last night. So I think when you talk about only getting 1 win out of those performances, you got to play better defense behind them, and that's been the story so far this year. The errors on defense, and with Taylor Jordan, a ground ball guy, and the Angels have the 5th highest ground ball rate in all of baseball at 49.5%. The defense better be on their toes tonight. They got to be Trump tight and throw some leather at the Angels here.
Yeah, we got a good report on Doug Fister today. I'm sure Dan Coco will have more on that later. So maybe the rotation about to take shape, the way the manager envisioned it, hasn't been that way yet.
Yeah, I mean, you get Doug Fister back here, and I think Tanner Roark's kind of taking that 5th spot by the horns right now. We'll see how Taylor Jordan does tonight. A big start for him in that little competition for the 5th slot in the rotation, but I still say it all comes down to defense. It's going to change. It has to change because you can't keep giving teams 28, 29, 30 outs at the highest level. They'll take advantage.
16 unearned runs the Nats have given up this year. And the Angels have a couple of guys who can play some defense. Trout, just one of the best all-around players in the game, and he's a slugger as well. Albert Pujols made a possible game-saving play for them last night, and he is 2 home runs away from 500. Nats, Angels, right now. To you by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by visitannapolis.org. Find it here. Some showers have moved through. Crowd gathering. A lot of folks probably getting here a little late tonight. They were concerned about the weather, but as we look into the distance, we know there's something at the end of that rainbow, and hopefully it's some runs. Visit trainsearch.com. Find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. So 68 degrees at game time. Just a beautiful evening at the yard. Angels got a big hit from Raul Ibanez. He has 15 RBIs this year, 10 of them from the 7th inning on. So this man has 10 hits, and he's driven in 5 runs more than he has hits. Hitting behind Albert Pujols and Mike Trout tonight. Taylor Jordan will need all of his pitches working against an Angel ball club that's hot. They've been gathering lots of hits over the last week. Yeah, that sinker suits nicely. Just said it in the open. The Angels' 5th highest ground ball rate in the big leagues, 49.5%. Keep an eye on the velocity tonight from Taylor Jordan. Last year averaged 92 miles an hour. This year 89, but the sinker plays well for him with the slider changeup combination. Coming off a tough one last time out against the Cards. 4th start of the year. You see the ERA. Last time out gave up 7 runs. 5 of those were earned. Went 5 1/3 through 96 pitches. Struck out 4 and walked 2. Righties having their way against a sinker baller with a 367 average against. Taylor would like that to change. Angels had 12 hits last night, 12 or more in 4 of their last 6 games. Rendon's on the grass at 3rd. The leadoff hitter is J.B. Shuck, who went 2 for 5 last night. That's a high strike. Right in there at 7:07 p.m. So the game pretty much starting on time. The tarp was on the field for quite a while late this afternoon. And a ball hit pretty hard left field way. Bryce Harper can't get it, and it is a fair ball into the corner. Harper will reach out and grab it to keep it from rattling around. And the Angels' J.B. Shuck has 10 hits all year, 3 of them in his last 6 ABs against our ball club. Well, that ball was up, and J.B. Shuck got all of it. I mean, this ball was hit. Look where the 2-seamer is from Jordan, up in the zone, belt high. The first strike was up. And Shuck not waiting around, sends that, what, about 333 feet away from home plate the other way. Got to bring in Mike Trout. Neither player on either team tonight has ever had an at-bat against the opposing pitchers. So a lot of discovery process here early in this one. First time through the order. And Jordan delivers a strike. 18-year veteran Jerry Meals, the crew chief, has the plate. Paul Emmel, first base. Toby Basner, second. And Jordan Baker at third. That ball rocked down to third. Rendon finds it, pulls Tyler Moore off the bag. And you know the speed of Mike Trout had something to do with that. And suddenly a bit of a rough start to this one. Well, we said the defense was going to be key tonight. The ball smoked off the bat of Mike Trout, not trying to move the runner at all. And I think Anthony Rendon went to a little panic right there. When the ball's hit that hard, regardless of the speed of the runner, you still have time, and Rendon rushed the throw, and it's an error. It's an error. The Nats 23rd of the year, the most in baseball. Rendon second. And the table is set for Albert Pujols and Raul Ibanez here. Pujols 0 for 5 last night. But he got a walking lead and stole a big base that sort of changed the 8th inning a bit. Scored the tying run before Ibanez got the big hit. The Nats are employing a huge shift that you seldom see against a right-handed batter, with Danny Espinosa right up the middle from second base. Thinking is Pujols, if he hits it the other way, it'll be in the air. The thinking is there's a 2-seam fastball that should be running down and into Albert Pujols, so you set your defense accordingly. You want to get a ground ball, and the way you pitch Albert is you pound him in. You try to show him that sinker down and in.
Don't let him get extended, because when he does, he's deadly.
Well, Pujols hot lately, but he hasn't done a very good job in situations like these. We saw last night he does hit the ball on the ground hard a lot, and you can get a double play if you make the right pitch. That is not the right pitch, and that is home run number 499 for Albert Pujols. A no-doubter down the line, 3-0 Angels.
And an Angels fan caught it, number 499, and it was a no-doubter. Well, let's look at the elevation of the pitch again from Jordan. Up in the zone. Started to come down at the end. And when you go into a big guy, you better get it in there, because if you leave it out over the plate, this is what happens. 3-0 in a heartbeat if you're just turning this one on.
Disturbing trend of early offense for the opposition continues. And now Pujols, who hit number 400 in this ballpark 4 years ago, has a chance for 500 with almost 2 full games here remaining. Ibanez can't reach that, and on him 0-2. Taylor Jordan gives up his second home run of the year. His opponent's batting average coming into this game was .315. And Ibanez out to right center, not too deep, and DENARD Span for the first out.
So the defense for the Nats behind Taylor Jordan. Harper, Span, Worth your outfield. Desmond, Rendon left side of the infield. Espinoza and Moore. Tyler Moore getting the start at first base tonight, the right side, giving Adam LaRoche the day off, and Sandy Leon behind the plate.
Ian Desmond had an error taken off his ledger today. April 11th at Atlanta, first inning ground ball hit by B.J. Upton. And so Desmond, before coming to the ballpark, went from 9 errors to 8. So 11 days later, a scoring change in a ball game with the Nats down in Atlanta. That pitch is low to Howie Kendrick. He's hot. 12 for his last 28. That's a .429 clip that has him on the verge of hitting 300. He's 5th in the American League in hits with 24.
You know, Carp, all this early scoring, you know, obviously you're playing uphill the rest of the game. Might change your approach from an offensive standpoint, but for Matt Williams' squad, what it does for the other team is, you know, you take the ball as a pitcher with a 3-run lead, it's a lot easier.
That ball is hammered to the scoreboard on a fly off the board at about the 380 mark, and a double for Howie Kendrick. And by the way, there's a change in the bullpen today. Xavier Cedeno sent back down. Aaron Barrett is back, and this is a rough start.
Yeah, Taylor not fooling anybody yet. You know, a lot of balls being barreled up. He's up in the zone, and after giving up 5 earned and 7 runs last time out, he has to be thick and hard right now.
And 5 earned runs in fewer than 6 innings to start before that. National starters, by the way, well, the whole staff had gone 49 innings without allowing a home run before Albert Pujols hit that monster shot. That'll bring in the shortstop, Eric Ibar. He had 3 hits with an RBI last night. We mentioned how the Angels have been swinging the bats, and that, of course, is without Josh Hamilton, who would probably be sitting in that cleanup spot every day.
Hey, even with a lefty up right now, Jordan pretty quick to the plate, but Howie Kendrick, 3 stolen bases so far this year.
That's a high strike at 89.
So Jordan has a 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball. Last year with the 4-seamer, it was 92 to 94 consistently. It reached back 95 with 2 strikes. Haven't really seen that yet this year. And the 2-seam fastball would sit at 90 to 93. And just down a click from what it was last year. And that's a good sinker right there at 87 miles an hour. And I think this is a pitch that, is his best pitch. And that one, not really about velocity, more than movement.
30-year-old Howie Kendrick, an Angel since '06. With a count of 1-2. Actually, he's aboard, and here's Ibar hitting it right side. Really good play by Tyler Moore. And on the cover, it's Jordan with a hard-earned and well-played second out.
Oh, great play by Tyler Moore. We've been talking about defense. Tyler Moore getting the spot start here at first base tonight and tested right out of the gate. Eric Ibar, who was on fire last night with 3 knocks, barrels up his first swing tonight, and Moore laying out. Perfect feed. Nice play.
And with Kendrick on second base, he probably scores on that if it gets through. So 2 outs. Number 7 hitter David Freese. Came off the bench as a pinch hitter last night and struck out looking in the 7th. He was the second last hitter faced by Tanner Roark, who pitched so well last night. Freese in a tough start with his new ball club. 8 for 57. He's 0 for his last 9. Proven RBI guy. And great late movement on that 83 straight down.
That's a changeup right there. Last pitch right down the middle of Freese, and Taylor lives on that down and in movement with his fastball. That one had a little bit at the end, but still up in the zone, and he's working hard to try to get that thing down into these righties. And I know there's a lot of talk about velocity, but if I have to rush to get to your fastball, it opens up your off speed. And if I don't have to rush to get to your fastball, meaning start my swing early, then the off speed's not quite as effective, and I can hit that too.
Well, that one got on the hands of Freese. And a 2-2 with an inside target. Another pitch up, but well inside. And David Freese getting pounded on his trademark right now.
Well, if you're reading swings in San Diego and his, they probably stay in on Freese. He's not getting to that pitch.
Here's your pattern with the strikes. And that hits him. First and third, 2 outs. And that'll get the catcher Chris IANNETTA into the batter's box. IANNETTA last night walked 3 times, scored once, hitting a .190, but he's hit safely in 5 of his last 6 games. Another one of those situations the Nats have faced repeatedly on this homestand. Number 8 hitter, 2 outs, runners aboard.
Really bearing down on Taylor's mechanics right now, and he's staying closed. The front side's not spinning out of there. He's out front on top. The ball just not really jumping like it did last year right out of his hand.
Well, he gets that one called the ball. That was a good looking breaking ball that appeared to be right on the edge.
The slider at 80. Starts it down the middle, breaks it to a corner, doesn't get the call. Jerry Meals didn't like it.
Two 2-1 pitch, rifled into left, and it's a 4-0 game. And the Angels have now scored 8 unanswered runs in this series since the start of the 8th inning last night. That's unbelievable, the differential in the runs.
Well, it's the 5th time already this season the Nats have given up at least 3 runs in the first inning. And the 9th time they've given up at least 2.
Tyler Skaggs is 0 for 17 as a big league hitter. Pretty healthy hack, and it's 0-2. And a good pitch away gets it. 9 Angels bat, 4 of them score, 2 of the runs unearned, and Nats off to a tough start. Nats are 7th in the league now in batting average. They're still 3rd in runs scored, 4th in home runs. He and Desmond hit one last night. Tyler Moore, when he plays first base, he mashes, batting almost 400. 13 extra base hits, 20 runs batted in. He's 3 for his last 10, and that was all in that Miami series when he did some lumber damage against the Marlins last week. So all the Nats are going to see Tyler Skaggs for the first time. Originally drafted by the Angels, went to Arizona. Now he's back with the ball club that plays in Anaheim.
Yeah, straight over the top delivery. Fastball averages 92. Curveball 12.6 to go with it. He has a changeup. Kind of accelerates through his delivery. He gets a little herky-jerky when he separates his hands and moves toward the plate. Got a good curveball, and the changeup is a feel pitch for Skaggs. If he's got a good feel for it, he'll use it, but he has a tendency to abandon it, only throwing it 7% of the time. Set the defense for the Angels behind Tyler Skaggs. Ibanez, Trout, Shuck. Your outfield, Ibar, Freeze, left side, Kendrick, Pujols, right side, and Chris IANNETTA putting down the fingers.
So the Nats outscored 8-1 since late last night. Try to get some offense going here. Span, Espinosa, and Worth.
I watched the last outing, Carp, excuse me, that Skaggs pitched against the A's. He had trouble commanding the arm side of the plate, so down and away with the sinker to righties. He'll mostly stay away to right-handers. He had trouble throwing it for strikes.
Easy looking 92 right there to Span. DENARD 0 for 4 with a walk and a run scored last night. The Nats had 3 hits the entire game. One of them, the Desmond homer in the 9th. And the count's even. Washington has seen some outstanding pitching on this homestand. The Nats were hitting .269 when they came back from Miami. .248 now.
And that fastball right over the top. He'll throw it 4 seams. You just saw it right there at 92. But probably his best pitch is the 2-seamer, the sinker. Gets lots of ground ball outs with it.
Target on the corner. And DENARD able to spoil that pitch that was up a bit.
Well, for the Nats offense, obviously an answer right here would be huge, because you just don't want to get into that here we go again mentality. And I'm sure a lot of Nats fans were thinking that after that 4-run top of the first. But a long way to go in this ball game. A long ways.
Skaggs making a 17th career start. And Span will take that breaking ball to the right side. Howie Kendrick charging it for the first out. That'll bring in Danny Espinosa, bumped up to the number 2 spot tonight ahead of Jason Worth. Ben Williams shaking things up a bit against the left-hander. The next left-handed hitter, Bryce Harper, won't appear until the number 6 hole tonight. And Danny from the right side is 4 for 14.
286 right-handed, 289 left-handed.
And 324 over his last 12 games.
And 0 for 0 tonight.
Soon to be, well, we'll see.
We got it covered.
Skaggs kind of hittable so far. 20 hits in 21 innings. 9 runs, 8 earned. 11 Ks, 4 walks coming in. Career ERA 4.96.
Hey, watching his last start against the A's, he did a nice job of just going right back up the middle with him. Had a rough first inning, gave up all in all 4 runs on 7 hits over 6 innings against the A's. Threw 95 pitches, 57 of those for strikes.
That ball hit hard, way foul, heading for the second level.
Well, I talked to Danny the other day, his left-handed swing versus right-handed swing. He said, you know, FP, I put so much effort into my left-handed swing. It's a daily thing where I keep working on it. It's just smoothing it out there, you know, keeping my head still. He said, but my right-handed swing, I just grab the bat, get my leg kick up there. And he said his leg kick, as high as it goes, is dictated by the pitcher's delivery. So if the pitcher has a slow delivery, he get that thing way up there in the air. If he has a quick delivery, he has to abbreviate it. See that big leg kick right there? So Skaggs with a long delivery, that allows Espinosa to go his version of Sarahara O right there with a huge leg kick. Doesn't have that anymore left-handed. Look at the leg kick. Out of the stretch, you have to be careful with that because they can quick pitch you, but out of the windup, a long delivery, a big leg kick.
And on a pitch, diving down and away. Skaggs with 86 under his bat. 2 outs, and Nissan will track it.
I think he went with a curveball right here. Kind of looked like a slider at 86, and I don't have him having that pitch. Got him as a 3-pitch guy, fastball, curveball, change. Maybe with a 4-run lead, you make one up.
Yeah, it had slide action to it, not the big loop of a curveball. And that'll bring in Jayson Werth, who was on 3 times last night, hit by a pitch, 2 walks. So while not collecting many hits lately, 1 for his last 17, on base constantly. Counts even, 1-1.
And that's the 2-seamer I was talking about to that side of the plate that Skaggs had a little bit of trouble controlling last time out.
Well, we mentioned Skaggs has been hittable. Last 2 starts, 4 earned runs, a home run in each of those. And Werth hits it hard, fair, left field corner. It'll hit the short pad and bounce out in front of Raul Ibanez. And good to see Jayson Werth check in with an extra base hit.
And the first hit of the night for the Nats. And there goes the no-hitter. Fastball 93 on the inner half. Rocket shot down the left field line on the ground. Jayson probably hoping or thinking, I should have got that one up in the air, but it was down the zone. You see him turning right there, beating David Freese to the line. And for those of you that might be new to the broadcast, that is a tribute to my old manager, Felipe Alou, who used to say it every single night. So it's the first thing you've got to take care of, the no-hitter. And he used to turn to us with sunflower seeds all over his chest and say, there goes the no-hitter.
Okay, what's next? The shutout, right?
And then you take care of the W.
Here's Anthony Rendon, who's hitting .583 against left-handed pitching. And that's the highest batting average of any hitter in the National League against southpaws. In fact, the highest number in baseball against lefties. And the guy in the hole has lofty numbers too, and that's Bryce Harper. And that one's going to tail just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Anthony Rendon hitting cleanup for the first time ever tonight. He's now hit in every spot of the lineup except for third. So there it is. That ball a long one to right center and right at the edge of the track. J.B. Shuck grabs it. Rendon, a well-hit baseball. Werth's double. Nats could not score. Folks still coming in. It's 4-0 Angels. Only thing wrong, Angels got 4 in the first. Pujols will bat again behind Trout here in the second inning. Angels on the road. Our Honda do-up feature. JB Shuck, his numbers are coming up. Base hit first time. He has had 3 in this series. And then Mike Trout doing some damage. Albert Pujols now just added a home run and 3 RBIs to his total. There's a bouncer down the first base line. Tyler Moore wanted to get to it before it got foul, and it took him right to the bat for an easy out.
When the Nats win, everybody wins all season long. When the Nats win and score 7 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu prices at PapaJohns.com by entering promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals.
Here's Mike Trout, hit the ball really hard at Rendon first time up.
It's going to take a pizza to win this one.
Yeah. At least several slices, if not a whole pie. And Trout's been hot lately. 350 or so over his last dozen games. And the slider at 83 down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So quick. Goodness on the inner half. I mean, the first ball he hit to Rendon was an absolute missile down the third baseline, and right there, I think he got a changeup from Taylor Jordan, but watch how quick he is on the inner half. Boom, waiting late, just caught it a hair out front.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball away, got him on the corner. Trout doesn't like the call. That's similar to the fastball Tanner Roark struck him out on in the first inning last night. Mercedes will track it.
Similar location, but didn't have the run back that Roark did last night. That one almost looked like it cut a little bit and may or may not have caught the front corner of the plate, but a nice pitch anyhow from Taylor Jordan, getting a couple of quick outs here on the top of the second.
25 major league players have hit 500 home runs. And Albert Pujols is trying to join that club. Number 498 Saturday in Detroit. Number 499 just under a half hour ago. And Jordan throws him a high fastball. Albert Pujols hit number 400 in this park August 26th. 2010 against Jordan Zimmerman. In a game the Nats eventually won in 13 innings. An 11-10 slugfest, and Pujols was on base 5 times that night. One pitch. Got him on a breaking ball in the dirt.
Good bounce back inning for Jordan.
Sure was. A 1-2-3 against 3. Swinging the bat pretty well. Desmond, Harper, Moore straight ahead for Washington.
a Natitude Flex Pack. Choose from 5 different packs, including the bobblehead and the concert Flex Pack. Some restrictions apply. Visit nationals.com/flex for details.
Ian Desmond went deep last night. He's now the Nats' home run leader with 4. When he hits them, boy, does he.
Yeah, that was supposed to be away. Ran back on the inner half. Desmond catching it out front. Went about halfway up into the red porch. This goes to show you, these guys have been getting pitched tough. I talked to Danny Espinosa the other day in the clubhouse. He said, FP, my dad called me on the phone the other night, and he was trying to tell me about my swing. And I said, Dad, we faced Jose Fernandez and Adam Wainwright and Michael Wacha and Lance Lynn. Sometimes you have to give the pitchers a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That's like Bear Bryant used to say. His fans didn't understand the other guys were on scholarship too.
Yeah.
Battle your way through it. The Nats have faced great pitching in this series. Actually, this homestand, and last night pretty effective by the rather erratic Garrett Richards, but he was conveniently wild. And Desmond will foul that. No balls, 2 strikes. Ian has hit safely 7 of his last 8 games. And with that batting average hovering in the mid 230 range, he's just waiting, so are we, for one of those 3-4 hit nights. Because when he gets hot, nobody much better spraying extra base hits all over the yard. And the 0-2 from Tyler Skaggs.
That was a mistake. You see Skaggs' reaction after that. That was 93. Chris IANNETTA wanted that up and in, kind of standing up, and Skaggs threw it right down the middle.
Desmond strikes out on that curveball. A little higher than the one that struck out Espinosa, but he's throwing that breaking ball to right-handed batters. Maybe this one more of the big curve.
Pretty big 2-strike hack from Desmond right there, but he doesn't cut a lot out of his swing in a 2-strike count. Trying to leave earth and just swung over the top of that curve.
Well, Bryce Harper, according to the league stat sheet, the 3rd leading hitter against left-handed pitchers at .538. Even though it hasn't been a great homestand for Bryce, he still hits safely 10 of his last 13 games to the tune of .340. Batting average just under .280. And that ball's well hit to left. Ibanez going back halfway onto the track for the 2nd out.
But even though that ball didn't go out, Bryce Harper stayed through that pitch. And sometimes a lefty will do that for you when you're going left on left as a hitter. He's been cutting across this pitch most of the year. And look at him stay on that ball, stay through that ball. And he has enough power to leave the other way, trust me. But that's one of the first swings I've seen him take the other way, where he stayed through it and didn't pull off. It's a good sign, even though he didn't get a hit.
Hit that ball about .350 out there on the track. And here's Tyler Moore with 2 down.
I gave it an exclamation point in my scorebook.
I liked what I saw. That approach will serve him well, and we just need Bryce to start squaring up some baseballs like he did early in that series a week ago in Miami. 0-2.
Well, he only has 141 games left, so I think he'll figure it out. And when you put the season into perspective and you start thinking how many Wagos are coming up here.
Games, right?
Step away from the ledge. Yes, Wagos, okay. Spanish for games.
Okay.
I just hit the SAP button real quick for myself.
Bueno.
That's why all this talk about, you read what the fans are saying about Clippard in the 8th inning and Desmond at shortstop. And yeah, you love the passion, and you never want to change that as a fan. But there's this little thing called track record that you go by as a manager in an organization, that if guys have gotten it done before, they're going to get it done again.
He is working over the right-handed batters with that breaking pitch. And a 1-2-3, a 10-pitch inning for Tyler Skaggs.
Top three. 4-0, top three here at Nats Park. Nationals trail. Your PNC minor league report today involves Aaron Barrett, who's back with the Nationals after making 2 appearances with AAA Syracuse. Was optioned 10 days ago. Now back with the big league club. Talked to Barrett earlier today. He was a rookie at the AAA level as well. He said that the guys were giving him a little bit of rookie hazing there since it's his first stint at that level. He had to carry the bullpen bag up there, and he said some teammates were making fun of him, telling him, what, you give up 1 hit at the big league level, they send you down. Some circumstances that led to Barrett getting optioned to AAA. The Nats needed fresh arms, so Blake Treinen came up 10 days ago, but Barrett is now back with the Nationals. He's excited to be here and out of that freezing cold weather up in Syracuse.
Yeah, Michael was told he'd be back in 10 days, and he is. That's a good-looking bunt. And a very good play by Taylor Jordan and Raul Ibanez. Thank you for bunting against the Washington Nationals with all the damage he's done over the years. But he saw guys off the line and deep and thought he could sneak a base hit.
Actually, a smart play right here by Ibanez. You see how early he squared around. It's not about deceiving anybody when you have a shift on right there. It's about setting your bat right. And he wishes he would have bunted it a little bit harder. He would have had a hit. Nice play by Taylor Jordan.
Yep. Aaron Barrett, by the way, told me it was crazy, his 10 days down in the minor leagues. The Nats sent him back on a Saturday. This is Howie Kendrick leading off. He didn't pitch, obviously, Sunday. Then they got rained out Monday and Tuesday. He pitched 1 inning. A couple of days later, pitched an inning in the 3rd. And all of a sudden, that wonderful phone call comes again, and he's back in the big leagues. So he's got a fresh arm, and he's ready to roll.
Well, you knew he'd be back. Only a matter of time. Stuff plays, attitude plays. And by the way, Masson Dan, that's a nice look you got going tonight. I'm digging the pink tie with the navy blue jacket. Way to tighten it up.
Let's see what he does when it's 95 down there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hot shot. Rendon right there with it. And a rifle over to Tyler Moore. 2 outs. So suddenly 6 in a row for Taylor Jordan after that Chris IANNETTA RBI hit in the 1st.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time late in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Eric Ibar robbed of a hit on a good glove play by Tyler Moore first time. Man, this guy is locked in. He's going to go Tyler Moore's way again. Tyler stays with it. Tricky spinning hop. And another 1-2-3. And that's a 6-pitch inning for Taylor Jordan, riding his ship. He'll bat second. And the Nats playing good defense suddenly tonight. Nationals Park with the sun setting out to the third base side of the yard tonight on a gorgeous evening. How about some group outings? The bigger your group, the bigger your discount at Nationals Park this season. Nationals.com/groups to check out those group theme nights, additional group experiences and benefits. Call 202-675-NATS to hear all about it. Nothing is more fun than bringing a large bunch of friends to the ballparks. Maybe even some co-workers.
Nah, I see enough of them at work.
No, we're going to get together and go to where they work and watch them for a while.
Yeah, no, pick your friends and come to the game. If you come with your coworkers, you can't pick your friends.
That's a fair ball from Sandy Leon. He's going to have to hustle. Ibanez after it, and a double clutch makes it not a close play at second. And the Nats have their second extra base hit. And for Sandy Leon, he's now 3 for 12 from the right side of the plate.
Well, if you look at the big picture here, Jason Worth ripped his double. Anthony Rendon hit a deep ball to right field. Bryce Harper smoked that ball to the track in left field, and now Sandy Leon with a leadoff double. So, you know, even though the Angels have a 4-0 lead, Tyler Skaggs has been hitting some barrels, some good at-bats for the Nats trying to jump back into this game. Give a little Buffalo right there at the end. A little tribute to Wilson Ramos. That was great. Here it is. We missed this, by the way, and I know Nats fans miss it. That's for Wilson Ramos.
A popular young man on this team. Can't wait to see him back. Taylor Jordan, pitcher didn't go for it. Now it's a base hit. Freeze was retreating because of the runner, and then Tyler Skaggs quit on the play.
Yeah, you know, as a third baseman, you read this ball, but when the score's 4-0, for me, there's no reason for David Freese to retreat to third base right there. Come in, make the play, get an out. You're up by 4 runs. Don't get greedy, retreat to the bag and hope your pitcher grabs it and throws it to you to cut down the lead out. Just simply somebody get an out right there, and nobody did.
Taylor Jordan's first hit of the year, the third of his big league career. And now as it swings around to the top of the order, Span, Espinoza, and Worth have an opportunity to get the Nats back where they need to be in this 4-0 game.
And Carb, I have a theory about the bunt in 2014.
Helter skelter.
It hasn't been in vogue for so long that when guys are doing it, the defense freaks out. I mean, that's like the 4th or 5th time this year we've seen a bunt laid down, a simple bunt, and the defense just absolutely freak out.
Span bounced out to second first time. And IANNETTA fully stretched out to grab that high on the backhand side.
Might have caught it behind him. Check it out. Pretty good athletic play from Chris IANNETTA. I thought that ball was past him almost. Goes up high to save a run. Although who knows with the way the Rocks have been playing back there.
Yeah. His mitt was right above the helmet of Jerry Meals, the umpire. Span gets a good look at the curveball, and it's 2-0. Everybody deep in the outfield except for Ibanez in left. That's ball 3. And a right-handed switch hitter in this situation against the lefty waiting, Danny Espinosa. Diamond's getting crowded.
Something you can drive right now if you're Span. Tell yourself one pitch, one spot, let it go. And you tell yourself, I want a fastball down and in. I'm looking for something down and away. Be specific. Don't just say I'm looking for a fastball, then you swing at anything. I'm looking for a fastball down and away. Tell yourself a specific command before you get in there.
That's a command. Go to first. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Too many times young hitters just look for a pitch and they don't take it to the next level and look for a pitch in a zone. And that's when you start becoming a polished hitter to where I'm sitting fastball right here. No. I'm sitting fastball down and in. I'm going to turn the fan on him if he comes in there.
That's pitching coach Mike Butcher.
And Mike Butcher was the sneaky MVP for the Angels last night by calming his starter down.
Things had gone haywire, hadn't they?
Yeah.
That was a crazy 4th inning. There were 2 walks, a wild pitch, a hit batter. And the Nats never did get a hit while scoring their first run of the night. So here's a big spot for Danny Espinosa. First time up. Skaggs got ahead of him and then worked him over with that low breaking ball. Big gap in left center. It gets away. The Nats will score, and all the runners move up. Leon Holmes standing up. 4-1 ball game.
Last night with Garrett Richards, it looked like the wheels were about to come off. Maybe a little over-aggressive hitting at the time, but you really can't change your game plan. Helped Richards out. It's a good take initially from Espinosa. Ball in the dirt. 5-hole right there for IANNETTA. And Jason Worth did a nice job on deck directing traffic, telling Sandy Leon he could score. And the reason I make that point is the same things happen right now with Tyler Skaggs. If you're the Nats, let it happen. Don't force the issue. Make him get in the strike zone.
Wild pitch ruled with that ball bouncing out in front of the catcher. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out.
Good to see some smiles in that first base dugout.
Yeah, some nuts and some handshakes here and there. And Danny takes it 2-0, and Tyler Skaggs missing high, missing low.
Boy, you used to love this at-bat as a hitter. You hit a ground ball to second base. It's almost like 2 runs. You're going to score the runner from third base. And you're going to get DENARD Span to third base with 1 out. Simple ground ball to second. But, you know, Espinosa probably thinking bigger things here with count leverage 2-0.
He's been one of the Nats' best extra base hit guys over the last 2 weeks. Pitch up, tailing away. Good hack.
Looked like he was trying to go to the right side, but he was also looked like he was trying to move himself to home with that swing.
Two balls, one strike. All right, here's where Danny has to go into the mode we talked about in spring training. Short, quick, protect.
And if you can't hit a grounder to the right side.
And Danny Espinosa gets hit with a breaking ball. That was the pitch that Skaggs used to strike him out 2 innings ago, and the bases are loaded again.
Yeah, just an overthrow there by Skaggs. And even though that hurt in a 2-strike count, Nats need base runners. Danny Espinosa will take it. Look at him not moving an inch, right in the calf.
Ooh.
That will tighten up tonight, believe me. Doesn't feel good now.
Big spot for Jason Worth. So the Nats have the tying run on base now after giving up 4 in the first. Twilight time here at Nationals Park. Bob FP and Dan. And the Nats are trying to stage a large inning here in the third with nobody out.
Ringing double first time up for Worth.
Yeah, it had a great sound. And he was in grand slam mode on the first pitch right there.
Grand slam. He was trying to hit an 8-run home run here. Watch this swing again. Jason Worth. He's got the driver out, and he is going deep. Maybe got a little bit too big right there and fouled it off. But he was trying to hit that one.
When I saw the replay of that swing, I was thinking of that skid sound effect you see on and hear on cartoons. I mean, that back foot was all over the place.
He's trying to hit to the bullpen, and I'm not talking about the one in left field. I'm talking about the one on Half Street.
And a slide to the left for IANNETTA. 1 ball, 1 strike. Third base, Jordan, the bunt base hit. Second base, span a walk. Espinosa hit by a pitch at first. Sandy Leon, who started this with a double, has scored. And a slow breaking ball stays up and away. 2-1.
See, that's a case of you haven't been around the strike. So Jerry Meals is not looking for strikes. That was a good pitch.
Worth left side. Angels looking to turn 2. Worth is out at first. And it's a 4-2 game. Jordan coming home.
Well, Jason Worth could be frustrated right there. 2-0 count leverage. He was trying to get that ball elevated to left field. Came over the top, and you can see the frustration in the Nats right fielder. Hit it hard. That's all he can do, but he wanted to elevate that baseball, hit it on the ground.
No, huge double play for the Angels. But the Nats have another chance to make this at least a 3-run inning. The chant we hear right below us every time the Nationals score a run.
Boy, if I'm Anthony Rendon and watching Tyler Skaggs bounce that curveball, he almost bounced another one right there. I'm looking for anything but a curveball with a runner on third.
Fastball away, 2-0. Rendon hit it hard, about 360 to the right center gap first time. Chased down by J.B. SHUCK, the right fielder. And a good take by Anthony, 3-0.
A little confusion right there between Jerry Meals and Anthony Rendon. Probably the bottom of the strike zone. Let's check it out. 3-0 pitch. Rendon thought it was a ball. Glove almost hit the ground. Automatic strike.
3-1 pitch, and that is ball 4. And Rendon took a second look back just to make sure. Second walk of the inning. And now the tying run's back on base, with Ian Desmond coming on. And in the obscure interleague statistic department, with his home run last night, Ian Desmond is the only active player who's homered in each of his last 3 interleague games. That goes obviously back into last year, when the Nats were 11-9 against the American League. Struck out swinging first time up. And there's that off-speed pitch in the dirt. This time IANNETTA able to block it. Fanned on one earlier, with Espinosa batting to get Leon home. So 27 pitches total first 2 innings. He's up to 50 with a very long third here.
If you're the Angels, you can't forget about the speedy cleanup hitter on first base right now, too.
Mike Scioscia at the helm of the Angels for a decade and a half now. He was 40 years old when he got that job. He's 55 now. 1-1 pitch. And Desmond able to ID that breaking ball coming way in on him.
Should get a pitch to drive right here. That turned it over nice. Fastball 92, bottom of the zone. That's a 2-seamer right there from Skaggs. And Ian Desmond is really pulling off with his head. I mean, front side leaving, head's out of there.
Yeah, it makes you susceptible to a lot of things, doesn't it?
Well, you can't hit what you can't see.
2-2 pitch with 2 outs and 2 aboard. And Desmond will pop it up to the right side. Hopes it gets out of play, but it won't. And Albert Pujols makes a basket catch near the Nats. On deck circle. Bases loaded, nobody out. They did pick up 2-run game.
line connections. 4-2. Nats jumping back into this ball game in the bottom of the third with 2 runs. Sandy Leon double in the third. Taylor Jordan, you see his line, but Albert Pujols approaching his 500th career home run. Look at his power zone right there. That looks like a Chesapeake Bay oyster. I mean, that's the biggest one we've seen this year. And Taylor throwing it down and in, and I think Pujols did a nice job like he's done his whole career, pulling his hands in and going deep for number 499. Hit speed 100 miles an hour.
Towering blast that in the old days they used to call a Ruthian clout. And Albert Pujols about to join some very exclusive home run company.
Can you say Ruthian clout on a right-hander?
Sure. High towering, majestic. Ball down to third. Well played. And then Anthony Rendon throws it away, and that's going to be his 3rd error on this homestand. 2 tonight. Had one against St. Louis that was costly.
I'm telling you, I've been a part of this before, to where when one guy's making errors, it becomes contagious, because you start thinking, you know what, everybody's talking about it in town. That's all everybody's talking about is us making errors. We got to start making plays. Not that anybody on the coaching staff is telling these guys anything, which is smart. You don't want to make this the big elephant in the room, but you know, I've been in situations to where when the guy next to me is making them, I start thinking about it. Then the guy at second starts to think about it, and you're like, I don't want to do that. And then it becomes a team-wide slump, and right now, that's the only explanation I got.
Yeah, hard to think of anything to blame it on. I mean, weather conditions have been pretty neutral. Playing surfaces have been fine. Some balls have been hard hit, but some have not. And Rendon will get this one right above his shoe tops and over to Tyler Moore. For the first out, no advancement by the runner. That'll bring in Tyler Skaggs. Struck out swinging first time up. Taylor Jordan got him to end the top of the first when they picked up 4 runs.
An A-ball cart for the West Palm Beach Expos. Matt Stairs was the third baseman. I was the shortstop. He had 30 errors at the All-Star break. I had 25 errors at the All-Star break. We used to make them every night and look at each other. And finally, we made a pact saying, we're not going to talk about it anymore, because we would joke about it, talk about it on the bus, talk about it in the clubhouse. And it became so ingrained deep into our head to where we were getting our work done every day. We were taking ground balls. We were out there early. We took great infields every day, but once the game started, it would creep into our heads. We thought we were talking about it too much, and we just kind of let it go. Second half was much better because he got called up to AA Harrisburg, and there wasn't errors next to me every night. I stopped thinking about errors myself, and I started making the plays. This game is so mental. You have no idea.
Tyler Skaggs, 2 big league hits and 18 at bats. And he goes upstairs on a 2-0 pitch, trying to get aggressive. It would be a huge lift for the Nats to get a 0 on the board here right after they scored 2. Chance to do it here at the bottom of the order, and then one more guy to go. And that's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good pitch. Same 3-0 pitch. It was called a strike on Anthony Rendon.
If pitch track was the umpire, this would be a low ball league.
Well, Mike Schmidt thinks it should be.
3-2. And a bouncer, third base side. Anthony Rendon on the charge. He took a look at the runner, but Ian Desmond was trailing the runner over to third base, and you just want to get it out in that situation. And now it'll be Jordan against J.B. Shuck to end this inning. Shuck has doubled opposite field and grounded out to Tyler Moore. Angels signed him as a minor league free agent actually a year ago, November. He had .293 for them in 129 games last year. Last time the Nats saw him was Houston back in 11 when he hit .272 in 37 games for the Astros. 1 week from now, the Nats will be in Houston. That's a ball lifted foul.
A couple of good changeups to start this at bat.
Had him way out ahead. Runner at third, 2 outs in a 2-run game. Nice pitch in the dirt. Leon takes care of that and the tag. And Taylor Jordan does get the shutdown inning. Bryce ahead, Tyler Moore and Sandy Leon to follow. President's Day celebrating, well, the President's Race celebrating Earth Day. Time to pick up some trash if you can. Put it in the recycling bin.
Hey, you bend over with a head that big. Sometimes it's hard to get back up. I mean, you got to have strong abs. It's all about the core.
Abe closing beautifully.
And I know it's a very politically correct town, and I'm going out there saying this, but Earth is my favorite planet.
Well, I'm really glad to hear it's not Mars.
Don't want to get any emails from Jupiter and Mars and Pluto. And
well, if you get some, you'll be the first to receive those.
All right.
Honda with our due-up. Bottom of the fourth, Nationals threesome. Bryce Harper wearing out left-handed pitchers. So even though he's 0 for 1 tonight, hitting .500 against them still.
Hit the ball really well to left field first time up.
And he bounces it to Howie Kendrick. Bryce in this series so far 0 for 5 with a walk. St. Louis handled him. He was 2 for 14 in that series. And here's Tyler Moore with Sandy Leon to follow. Expect Tyler to be hacking if he sees a fastball here. Got to 2 strikes and a curveball got him. He'll take the heater outside to get ahead. And now he's missed with 2 fastballs. And Tyler Moore high in the air to right center, not that deep, and Mike Trout is there. 2 outs. Sandy Leon double first time up, splitting time with Jose Lobaton. Dan Coco.
Bob, in the 10 or so games after Wilson Ramos went down on opening day, the Nats really weren't getting much offensive production from Sandy Leon and Jose Lobaton. That's changed over the last 12 games. Those 2 have combined to hit 300 with 4 extra base hits and 4 walks in the last 12 games. They want Wilson Ramos back as soon as they can get him back in the lineup. But Leon and Lobaton have really picked things up from an offensive perspective the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, nice report on some great numbers. Badly needed the bottom of that lineup. You might remember opening day in New York, Wilson Ramos was the cleanup hitter.
There's Buffalo. I miss him.
Gets emotional every time we put him on camera. And the 0-1 to Leon, who doubled and got that rally started last inning. Leading off with one right down the third base line. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Wilson's on the mend, feeling better. I saw Ryan Zimmerman after the game on Sunday, trying to keep his legs and his core strong. And not any, you got to be careful with those hand injuries as far as impact. You can't start swinging a bat and making contact until things are fully healed. FP, you hit one off the end of the bat or the trademark, and you could go right back to square one.
And he'll be 100% when he comes back. Part of the rehab is he has to go run the plains.
As in the Great Plains?
Yes. That's how Buffalo's rehab.
Stay away from Kevin Costner. Fastball in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Hopefully he can look back on all of this stuff that he's gone through as a man and a player someday, and just have it all be in the rearview mirror and have a wonderful career.
3-2. Sandy Leon trying to get that lineup turned over by getting on base for the 2nd time. Lobaton was on 3 times last night with a single and 2 walks, and Jose, of course, had that great Sunday game against St. Louis with 3 hits. So Dan Coco chronicling how the Nats catchers have turned things around here. And Leon's going to get rung up on a pitch down in the zone. He thought he'd walked. 4th strikeout by Tyler Skaggs. This one going into the 5th inning. Some beautiful water features, and that's up in Georgetown tonight. Nationals baseball on Masson. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Clearing just in time to see that good contact by Jason Worth. So it's a 4-2 ball game as we go top 5 here. Trout, Pujols, Ibanez. And of course all the baseball watching every at bat by Albert here.
Backed by popular demand, the Nats Beltway Burger Pack includes a ticket, burger, fries, and a drink. Starting at just $20 for Thursday and Friday home games. This deal can be only purchased online at nationals.com/burgerpack.
Good looking slider, but evidently low to Trout, who has reached on an error, scored a run, and struck out. In the series, Mike Trout is 2 for 7 with a single to right and 1 to left. Ooh, slider sitting up. Not sure I want to throw another one back there. The count's 1-1. Leads the American League in multi-hit games with Miguel Cabrera. They each have 10. Actually, that's Melky Cabrera of Toronto, not the Tiger. 10 each. Howie Kendrick has 9 multi-hit games, so the Angels have been doing some swinging lately. That's a base hit. And he gets around and hits the ball hard. And he'll put Taylor Jordan into the stretch for Albert Pujols' 3rd at bat of the night. Inside the numbers, first 3 years. Trout hitting higher than Mickey Mantle did back in the early 50s with those great Yankee teams. More home runs. Mantle, look at the RBIs. And the on-base percentage plus slugging. Trout. Great numbers from Jeep comparing players from different eras. Mickey Mantle, a farm boy from Commerce, Oklahoma. And Mike Trout from New Jersey.
Mike Trout, a linebacker from New Jersey.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
And the best all-around player in the game, in my opinion.
Millville, New Jersey. Switched to outfield from shortstop in high school. He was offered a baseball scholarship to East Carolina University before the Angels took him as the 25th player overall in '09. His dad, Jeff, is the coach at his old high school. And the first pitch to Pujols. Right in there with 90. Sitting on 499 home runs. Albert Pujols made his first major league roster in '01 coming out of spring training with St. Louis because Bobby Bonilla pulled his hamstring at the end of spring training. Pujols was ticketed for AAA. He had spent the previous year in the minors at Peoria and Potomac, which then was a Cardinal High A ball club. AAA Memphis. Then all he did was go out and be Rookie of the Year, hitting .329 with 37 home runs. Wasn't supposed to make the team. Drove in 130 that year. Went to his first All-Star game. And obviously Trout has the attention of the Nats at first.
Well, when you steal 49 bags in 2012 and 33 bags last year, you're going to get some attention. He's only caught 5 times in 2012 and only 7 times last year.
Had 2 for 2 this year, not that many running opportunities. And Albert Pujols had a big swing, hit 89 off to the right side, strike 2.
So they're marking the baseballs with Albert Pujols. You see that P right? Well, that's the baseball, but you see the P right above the Rockies?
Yeah.
And so if it's number 500, you know you're getting the right baseball.
Yeah, so if somebody catches a ball without the P, they cannot claim they caught the historic fly ball. 1-2 count. It's just another throw over. No, it's a high pitch. And there it goes to left center. And that's number 500 for Albert Pujols. 2 for 3 tonight with 5 RBIs. And he's a member of the 500 home run club.
And his whole ball club is coming to home plate to greet him. Look at this. And Nats fans are on their feet.
At the age of 34, 500 home runs. He's hit the most homers against the Montreal-Washington franchise than he has anybody else. And here he comes for a curtain call on the road. And some fan out in left center just got a treasure. Here's Ibanez. He goes up hacking. It's now a 6-2 game, and Albert Pujols has driven in 5.
Well, here's a swing, the historic swing. Fastball belt tie. He didn't miss those, folks, obviously, and that one went far.
Danny Espinosa out in right field to throw out Ibanez.
So here's number 500 one more time from the side. Watch him just pull the hands in. The barrel follows the classic Albert Pujols swing, and not a cheap one for number 500. And I think that guy in the gray shirt right there, this gray sweatshirt, got it.
Base it up the middle for Howie Kendrick. Well, Pujols recently passed Lou Gehrig and Fred McGriff. He's now just 4 behind Eddie Murray. He has 7 years left on his Angels contract after this season. So I think he's going to make it to 700. How far beyond that, we'll see. I mean, he's got 7 years, what, in 3/4 years or even more than that to hit another 200 home runs. It'll be interesting. Howie Kendrick, good wheels. He's doubled and scored tonight.
So you got 30 home runs a year at age 34. I got to see that.
Yeah. We'll see.
I will take the under.
Yeah, he's healthy. But that's a lot of home runs for a guy at that age. Four hits in the inning, and the Nats bullpen is about to get busy.
I think the kid in the gray sweatshirt, the guy in the gray hoodie, got it.
Yeah, not the first guy to touch it. Got it.
I wonder if he knows that's 500. Probably does now.
Taylor Jordan had cruised second, third, fourth innings, 28 pitches, 21 strikes, 7 ground ball outs coming into this inning. He has 1 ground ball out here in the 5th, but some pitches up have gone a long, long way. David Freese has been hit by a pitch and reached on an error. Jordan trying to get a double play ball, missing low. Craig Stammen with the Nats down by 4 again. And Freese will chop one foul. The count's even 1-1.
Well, with Doug Fister coming back, what looks like should all things go well on April 7th. May 7th. Thank you. He wishes it would have been April 7th.
As do we. Right down the middle. Freese takes it.
Tanner Roark has taken that 5th spot and run with it. I mean, you don't cross that bridge until you come to it. If you're Steve McCaddy, Matt Williams, and Mike Rizzo, you never make that decision early because you never know what's going to happen between now and then. But if you had to make that decision today, I feel like it's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, Tanner Roark, when he's right, has swing and miss stuff. Moves the ball around. Gets contact outs as well. And his toughness, his resilience.
When he gets into that groove and that rhythm like he was last night, he's a poor man's Greg Maddux for me. And I know that's high praise even mention that name with Tanner Roark, but that's who he reminds me of when he's got all of his pitches working and that late movement and staying down the zone like he did against the Angels last night.
With the runner moving, another foul off the bat of David Freese. Well, Dan, we talked earlier about you'd have more on Fister, and Matt Williams did address his situation today.
I'm here with that update, Bob. Doug Fister threw 3 innings today in an extended spring training game down in Florida. 44 pitches. Felt good coming out of it. The plan for here, one more he's going to now head on a rehab start. Sorry. That'll be Sunday, likely at Potomac. Throw 4 innings there. 5 innings his next rehab start. Then could be ready for the Nats around May 7th-ish.
That's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. As Freese strikes out, and then throwing right on through is Sandy Leon to put an end to a 2-run 5th inning.
Six to 2 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Come watch the Nats close out April as they play San Diego, the Padres. What would we have? All Holy Week here, Sunday, April 27th at 1:35 p.m. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Jordan Zimmerman bobblehead. There it is. Check it out. I want one of those. This giveaway will be distributed at all gates while supplies last. So 25,000 JZim bobbleheads. Get your tickets by calling 202-675-NATS or by visiting nationals.com/tickets. It's probably a very quiet bobblehead. Doesn't say a whole lot. Just put it on your desk. Just get the job done.
Bottom of the 5th inning. Taylor Jordan done for the night. Kevin Franzen will pinch hit. He's done that well, 2 for 7 with an RBI. And a tapper to third. Freeze on the move. Bottom of the 5th underway. So Taylor Jordan goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs. He struck out 5. Last one resulted in a double play. Hit a batter. Gave up 2 home runs, 79 pitches, 57 strikes. And DENARD Spanton looks at a strike. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Big, as my partner called it, a roundhouse curveball recently. And the 0-2 with Espinosa on deck here in the 5th. Nats haven't had a hit since Taylor Jordan's bunt base hit with nobody out in the 3rd. And Span to left. It'll chase Ibanez over toward the gap a bit. DENARD hit it well. 2 outs. Nats got 2 runs in that 3rd without an RBI. Wild pitch and a double play grounder, getting them back to within 4-2. Pujols has made it a 4-run game again. And here's Danny Espinosa, who has struck out and been hit by a pitch. Danny goes up swinging over by the dugout. It's coming back, and it's caught by Chris IANNETTA, and that's a 5-pitch inning for Tyler Skaggs. RBIs by Albert Pujols on 2 homers. And we go back to June of 2005. Nationals' first season here. They were in Anaheim. And as Brendan Donnelly came out to pitch, Frank Robinson wanted his glove checked. They decided something was on it, a foreign substance. The glove was confiscated. Donnelly ejected. Later in the game, Mike Scioscia had Gary Majeski's glove looked at, and the Nats and the Angels really got into it. Jose Guillen was in the middle of the whole thing. He was booed loudly when he came up to the plate late in the game, and he hit a home run that eventually led to a Nationals win. That's a Volkswagen moment in history with the Washington Nationals and the Angels.
Nice play right there.
Anthony Rendon taking a hit away from Chris IANNETTA.
Just a one-hop bullet right to Anthony Rendon. Stays soft with the glove, gives a little bit, knows he has a lot of time. Makes a good throw. Nice play. He's got a lot of action over there tonight.
Well, Craig, one rough outing in Florida last week. Really kind of jacked up his ERA. He threw a ball away in a long inning. Other than that, solid. He faces the pitcher Skaggs, who has struck out and bounced out to third base. And that one coming right back in for a strike, 0-2.
Well, the reason Mike Scioscia checked the glove later in the game is he had to tell all of his guys to go get new gloves, probably. Because if you open up that whole can of worms, you can't just check right back until you make sure your own guys are clean. And I guarantee if you had shots of both bullpens that night, they had nice shiny new gloves on.
Mel Proctor and Ron Darling called that game on Masson back in 05. And a 1-2 pitch. Chip Winfield, our producer, was on hand for that melee. They had to hold him back.
Well, he could do a lot of damage. I mean, that guy's put together.
And Howe, 2 outs. Top of the order for J.B. Shuck, as Craig Stammen's trying to get the Nats right back in their dugout. $37 with 6 strikeouts tonight. Times 6 to the Children's Inn at National Institutes of Health. Every time a Nat gets a strikeout this year on the mound. Thanks to our D.C. area Toyota dealers. J.B. Shuck 1 for 3 with a double. And he'll stroke one with authority to left, but Bryce Harper right there. Good quick inning for Craig Stammen. That was an 8-pitch frame for Craig. This game within reach with a long, long way to go. telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. On to the bottom of the 6th inning, 3-4-5 for the Nats. Comeback road needs to start pretty quickly here in the 6-2 game. Angels out-hit the Nationals 12-3 last night.
Both games eerily similar when you talk about Garrett Richards last night getting to that jam in the 4th inning where the Nats had a chance to do some serious damage and blow that game open. And the same goes tonight for Tyler Skaggs in the 3rd inning. Bases loaded, nobody outs, and he escapes with just 2 runs scored. They've had a chance both nights with the Angels starting pitchers on the ropes. And they both wiggled out, and they both settled down.
The Nationals stranded an unbelievable number of runners in that St. Louis series, like 42, I think it was, including that 17 game. They left 8 aboard last night and 3 so far this evening. Worth has hit the ball hard on the double, and then he hit into the 5-4-3 double play that brought in the 2nd run back in the 3rd. 69 pitches, 41 strikes for Tyler Skaggs. Close. 3-0. Good eye by Worth. Base runners needed.
Yeah, 72 pitches tonight, season high 95.
That was his first start at Houston when he went 8 innings in a 5-1 win April 5th. In fact, he's gone 95 twice, most recent start as well against Oakland. So a base runner here in the 6th.
It is now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #MASSandNationals for a chance to have it shown tonight on TV during this broadcast that's brought to you by AT&T.
Anthony Rendon is lined to the gap in right center and walked.
Five in a row. Six in a row. Well, you always get in between as a hitter right here, whether to swing or take. Do I take a strike? He's thrown 6 in a row. Or is he just going to lay one right down the middle for me? Those are the thoughts that go through your head before you jump back in the box.
I wasn't going to talk until he threw one in there. Figured we were on a roll here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rendon. Big gap in left center. A lot of room right side of the infield. Rendon rips it right at Mike Trout. barely a step or so to his left for the first out.
Yeah, second line out of the night for Rendon. He's hit the ball hard twice, a walk in the middle. Another good at-bat for Rendon, nothing to show. Mike Trout plays a deep center field. I'll tell you what, up by 4 runs, he is playing deep.
Michael Kahn for the Angels. One of their 6 right-handers. We saw pretty good work by Fernando Salas, Joe Smith, and Ernesto Frieri last night. And here's Ian Desmond, who's over 2, strikeout, and a pop-up foul to the first baseman. Showed bunt, and then Pujols had come in a little bit because of the bunt offer, and IANNETTA came up looking to throw, but nobody there. By the way, Jason Worth on base again 5 times in this series in 8 plate appearances. Make it 7 plate appearances, just all over the place. One ball, one strike. Desmond, one hopper. Ibar, Kendrick, and they turn the 6-4-3. Angels' second double play of the night. This ball game into the 7th inning. Trout, Pujols, Ibanez ahead.
Whole career. Here's home run number 499 for Albert Pujols. That was in the first inning. Struck out his second at bat, came up his third at bat, and there's home run number 500 for Albert Pujols. And the gentleman in the gray sweatshirt, his name is Tom Sherrill. He's in the Air Force from Pomona, California, and he will meet Mr. Pujols after the game. Says he's just going to give him the baseball. How about that?
Well, he's not going to leave empty-handed if I know the guy he's giving that to.
He was just up here walking down the hallway, and I told him, ask for something, and everybody turned around and told me, shh, let's get something for it. That's nice. Somebody serving our country, and now he gets to meet Albert Pujols. What a thrill.
That's great. And a big breaking ball from Craig Stammen to Mike Trout, who's 1 for 3, scored 2 runs. Tough take on an 0-2 pitch. Craig Stammen, 8 pitches, 5 strikes. In a 1-2-3 6th. 2-3-4 here. And he holds on too long. It's a full count to Mike Trout. Shuck a double. Trout reached on an air. Pujols 3-run homer in the first. They would add a run on a Chris IANNETTA 2-out single. And then Trout with a base hit. Pujols a 2-run shot in the 5th. There's 6 runs. And Mike Trout slightly jammed on that. Great pitch by Craig Stammen. Then he strikes him out.
Well, he's been struck out in the outer half so far this series. That's the first time he's been challenged on the inner half, and here's that guy.
Albert Pujols' career against Craig Stammen is 3 for 5 with a couple of walks. Looks like 2 singles and a double in those 3 hits.
He's one of 4 players born outside the United States to hit 500 home runs, along with Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, and Manny Ramirez.
And a rocket to short. Good backhand play by Ian Desmond. 2 outs. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep. 06 and 11 World Series in St. Louis. Multiple MVP, All-Star, Silver Slugger. 2 Gold Gloves. And as I mentioned, in a year when he wasn't even supposed to make the team, Bobby Bonilla, late injury in spring training. He went out and won the Rookie of the Year and made the All-Star team.
First home run was April 6, 2001 at Arizona. Number 100 was July 20th, 03 at the Dodgers. Number 200 was September 30th, 05 against the Reds. 300 July 4th, 08 against the Cubs. 400 8/26 in 10 in Washington, D.C., as you said yesterday, Cart. And then 500 tonight. It's a lot of taters.
Mercedes-Benz will track this one.
Good 2-seamer down the way, gets a call.
That ball hit to the right side. And Tyler Moore to the bag, and Craig Stammen comes out and retires 6 consecutive Angels. Time to stretch. Nats need 4. Stretch. Beautiful night over on the Potomac and the Kennedy Center. It's a 6-2 Angel lead after 6.5 innings, and Albert Pujols has put on quite a show with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs tonight. The Nats still have 3 innings with which to work. Down by 4, Harper, Moore, and Leon here. And hopefully the offense will hit a high note in the bottom of this inning. Here's our T-Mobile Nats do-ups in the 7th. And this season, what they've done with runners in scoring position. So Bryce, a homer, 5 RBIs, his only homer of the year. Tyler Moore and Sandy Leon.
Well, if you think about jumping back in this game, the time is now. It's getting late.
Angels have gone to their prevent defense here in the outfield. So J.B. Shuck moves over to left field to replace Raul Ibanez, who's out. Colin Cowgill is in right field. Bryce Harper 0 for 2. And in the series, still looking for his first base hit.
Well, you know what Mike Sosa just said. We got to have more Cowgill.
I had a feeling we're going to hear that sometime during the series.
I couldn't help
Since
it.
he's no longer in our division.
I tried not to say that.
Well, you lose Colin Cowgill and Ike Davis. Not a whole lot in the Nats box. A Worth first inning double. Doubled by Leon, and on an attempted sacrifice, Taylor Jordan ended up with a bunt base hit in the 3rd, and the Nats have not had a hit since. Bryce Harper walks away. Strikeout number 5 for Tyler Skaggs. Nissan will track
92 on the black, and Harper knew it. Hit his spot, ran the corner. Good pitch.
Tyler Moore 0 for 2. By the way, a story emerging in Atlanta. 1-0 in the 9th with the Marlins leading and batting. Jose Fernandez has a 3-hitter through 8 innings with 14 strikeouts and not a single walk against the Braves, who had a blown save from Craig Kimbrell last night. Marlins had him on the ropes, couldn't put him away, and the Braves won it on a Gaddis homer in extra innings. So we'll keep our eye on what Mr. Fernandez is doing in Atlanta tonight after the Nats were able to beat him last Wednesday. Two balls, no strikes. Jerry Blevins getting ready because Craig Stammen's spot could come up here if the Nats get a runner or 2 in the 7th. He's pitched 2 good innings out of the bullpen on 19 pitches. And that's 3-0. Tyler Moore's aboard. Well, the Nats keep getting opportunities from opposing pitching staffs.
And getting him on, and just got to get that big hit. And once you break through as a ball club and get one of those, they become contagious as well. It seems like they've been searching for that one that clears the bases pretty much all year in the first 20 games.
Another walk for tonight. That's $50 more to support Girls on the Run DC. Thanks to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they want each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. That's up and in to Sandy Leon. Pinch hitter on deck. Runners needed here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, there's Zach Walters, couple of home runs so far this year, both right-handed. One to right field and a towering shot halfway up the flagpole to put the Nats up by 1 in Miami.
Chopper, left side. Ibar charging. Right on target for the second out.
You don't want to put too much on a young kid in one at-bat, but I feel like if Zach Walters has a decent at-bat right here, he may be looking at a start sometime soon. I have no idea where, but when your offense has been kind of stale for a couple of nights, managers will do that. They'll shake it up a little bit and give somebody a shot.
Walters has a pinch hitter, 1 for 5 with that homer down in Miami. Overall, he's 2 for 7 with a pair of solo homers. And that's a strike high in the zone.
I mean, it just seems like early in the season so far, if you want to kind of circle a pitcher, a certain type that's given the Nats problems, it's the effectively wild guy. And we've seen it a number of times to where it was Tom Kohler in Miami. It was Garrett Richards last night. It's been Tyler Skaggs here tonight. I mean, if they get strike throwers, they're going to hit. And we've seen the big numbers when they do have strike throwers. The veteran guys that are around the plate, the pitchers so far in 2014 that are really making the Nats hitters scratch their heads are the guys that throw one pitch in one spot, one over their head, one to the backstop, one on the black. And I've talked about it at length. That's not an easy at-bat for an aggressive hitter. It is an easier at-bat for a guy that's patient.
No balls, 2 strikes to Zach. And Walters gets a breaking ball and hits it right at David Freese. The Nats still don't have a hit since a bunt by the pitcher in the 3rd inning into the 8th. 6-2 Angels. Nationals baseball on Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. And by Coons, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Well, some folks have seen some baseball history here tonight. Now they're hoping to see a comeback win by their ball club. We're going to the top of the 8th inning, and a call to the bullpen for Jerry Blevins, packaged by the UPS store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Howie Kendrick leads off. A pitcher and some hitters who know each other pretty well from the same division. Kendrick takes the fastball in there. He's 1 for 7 career against the Nats left-hander.
11th appearance of the year for Jerry Blevins in game number 21. Everyday Jerry, pretty much. Fastball, curveball change.
Up the middle, and that's where Danny Espinosa's playing.
All right, we promised you earlier in the game, these have been unbelievable. We have an AT&T photo, and there he is, Danny Espinosa on a cruise. I'm going with that. There he is. Danny Espinosa on a cruise. There he is again after his cruise. And word is he didn't get sick, so that's good.
And that ball lashed into the left field corner, right on the line. And Eric Ibar has another multi-hit night. So he is 5 for 8.
He keeps this up, he's going to get traded to the National League. Having a struggle early in the season. Was 2 for 22 coming into this series. But finding his stride, locking it in. Single and a double, 2 more hits tonight.
Ibar now 2 for 5 career against Blevins. There's David Freese, who's 0 for 1 against Jerry. And that's a breaking ball that goes around the plate outside. Freese 0 for 2 tonight. Hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and struck out on the front end of a strikeout throw-out double play.
And by the way, that wasn't really Danny Espinosa. Some people are tweeting me thinking it was.
Of course they are.
Goodness.
If FP tells us, it must be true.
Shake yourself. Let's go.
Three and 0. Runner going, great jump. Good throw.
Might have a review.
Eric Ibar stole it on Blevins as Leon got it down there in good fashion.
I want to see this one again. Pretty good throw right here by Sandy Leon. There's some action in the Nats dugout. They are waiting for word, and I want to see this one right here. What do you got? I don't know if I could tell.
Looks like the ball club's going to huddle on the mound and not even have the manager come out. Now he will.
This is good news strategy. I like it. Take a trip to the mound. Is it conclusive enough, though? And Matt Williams is one not to take challenges into the clubhouse. He's going to check. It gets a little blurry right there, but I think he got him right before his hand got there. I just don't know if it's conclusive enough for the crew in New York to overturn it, and we got us a challenge. So we are challenging. We have a challenge, and the Nationals are challenging that the runner was out, obviously. And they're showing it on the scoreboard. Big react from the crowd here. They think it's going to be overturned.
Well, they're supposed to show these on the scoreboard. get the fans involved in the process.
The problem I have is the umpires down the field looking at the scoreboard in the replay. There was a lot of talk about Angel Hernandez in Atlanta when Nate McLouth was looked to be safe at first base, looking up, watching the scoreboard and the replay. Maybe they're instructed to. But there's Jordan Baker, the 6'7" umpire. We had Taylor Jordan, Tyler Skaggs, Jordan Baker, and Tyler Moore tonight. What do you got? Well, he's out underwater, I know that. This one will tell a little bit better.
I tell you, looks like the glove gets there. The fingertips are there. Is it conclusive enough to overturn? I mean, if they have to look at it for 2 minutes, I would call that not conclusive.
They're still looking. They're looking hard. Here you go.
Runner's safe.
And the fans voicing their opinion here at Nats Park, and Matt Williams is not happy.
I think Matt this year has believed in his heart that he's had 3 of these things,
right?
And they've all gone the other way.
Right.
Every one of them. 3-1 to David Freese. 1 out. And Freese cracks one foul right down the line. Three minutes and 12 seconds on that appeal.
I mean, just early returns on this whole process, it has to be beyond a shadow of a doubt to where.
And we're told they called the evidence inconclusive there.
Eric Ibar would have had to been somewhere between short and third.
And David Freese will lift a fly ball to right. Ibar, great speed, and Worth has little chance on this one. Angels lead 7-2.
Sandy Leon, by the way, has been very impressive with his catching and throwing skills so far this year. I didn't know he had that kind of arm, that quick a release. He's already thrown Eric Ibar out once tonight and almost had him twice.
Number 8 hitter Chris IANNETTA 1 for 3 with an RBI single back in the first that gave them a 4-run inning. 2 of the runs unearned after an Anthony Rendon error. And a pop-up over to the left side for Rendon. Drifting with it. And the top of the 8th is over. But the Angels tack on another run. Top of the order, Span, Espinosa, and Worth. It's all Halos. celebration, but the Nats have to face Jared Weaver tomorrow night. He's 50-23 over the last 4 seasons, and he's won 114 big league games. So it's up to Gio to get the Nats either a series win or one out of these 3, depending on what happens the rest of the way tonight. Johnny and Ray here at the ballpark, 6:30, Nats extra. And then 7:05, first pitch from Gio Gonzalez, who's off to a 3-1 start with a 2.88 ERA.
Check out the P-Nats, the defending Northern Division champs, are back in Woodridge April 23rd through the 29th. Highlighting the upcoming homestand, Bryce Harper t-shirt night, team posters, pups in the park, cats in the park, pups and cats in the park at the same time. You can't miss that one. Fireworks, come down and see the future Washington Nationals all summer long. Go to pnats.com or call 703-590-2311.
Michael Kahn, 27-year-old righty, 63 games with a 3.74 ERA for the Angels last year. Tommy John surgery in April of 2012.
We got pretty good fastball. You saw right there. Averages 94.5 miles an hour. Slider, he'll throw 13% of the time, and a changeup, he'll also throw 13% of the time.
That's well inside. DENARD Span has never faced him. Espinosa, McLeod, Worth, and Ryan Zimmerman have. DENARD 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Right on the edge. I'm not sure this was that close.
Yeah, it looked like it was just off away. 7-2 game. Umpires will look for strikes.
And Span will chop it right over to the bag. Albert Pujols. 1 out. He and Desmond went deep last night. And every time a Nat homers, it's $250 to the Children's National Medical Center, thanks to the generosity of our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. Danny Espinosa, as mentioned, has hit against Michael Kahn before, 0 for 1. Danny 0 for 2, hit by a pitch tonight. By the way, the Marlins won that game at Atlanta. After 109 pitches, they took out Jose Fernandez, and Steve Cishek worked a 1-2-3 ninth.
And Danny Espinosa was hit his second at-bat on a curveball from Tyler Skaggs, and he almost wore one right there at 94 miles an hour. Looked like that ball might have cut a little bit from Kahn, just under his right arm.
Kahn 52 strikeouts last year, but 28 walks. Broken bat, which is tracking the baseball a bit, but it didn't go that far. And Albert Pujols able to grab it for the second out.
Yeah, that bat was shattered. And look at the pitch. I mean, this is way off the plate in. It almost hit Espinosa, and he swung at it. Look at the bat and the ball in tandem, coming down from another planet, it looks like.
Unbelievable look at that on our Exmo.
Looks like debris from space.
I say it looked like a couple of spaceships that were about to dock. So here's Worth. Jason's been on base twice with a double and a walk.
Spaceships don't look like bats and balls. Well, I mean,
Spaceships can look like whatever you want them to.
I guess. What do you got in that cup of coffee over there?
H2O, quality H2O. That's a slider outside. 1-1. I mean, you're talking about getting emails from Jupiter and other planets.
That's true. Well, it's just kind of been a weird night, I guess.
81 on the breaking ball, bringing a hitter to a knee. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a fastball. Worth puts a charge into it, right center, and Trout is right in front of the scoreboard when he pulls it in. Nats go 1-2-3. On to the 9th inning now with the Angels up by 5.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to the 5th inning history, folks. Albert Pujols up, hit .499 in the first, and here is number 500, right down the middle, belt high, and he hit it far, he hit it deep, and Tom Sherrill from Pomona, California, in the Air Force, got himself a pretty nifty souvenir. Showed me the ball carpet. Already had the Major League Baseball Authenticator guy's sticker on it. Had the P that we just showed. And a curtain call for Albert Pujols. And everybody here, witness history again.
Win prize packages from Masson all week long. Be sure to follow Masson on Twitter. Use hashtag Masson Nationals in your tweets to be automatically entered to win. Ian Stewart will hit for Michael Kahn, who just pitched a 1-2-3 8th inning. Stewart started the ball game last night, hit cleanup, and went 1 for 5.
The Bear is back, and so is his slider. We are glad to see him.
Aaron Barrett, all smiles, back to the big club today.
.95 with sync.
Kind of unusual to go from Double-A to the big leagues, and you get sent down to Triple-A for 10 days, and you're back in the major leagues.
Well, hopefully this time he's here to stay. You know, he was sent back, in case you didn't know, last time because they needed a long guy. Blake Treinen was stretched out to 100 pitches at the Triple-A level. The bullpen was taxed. So they went and got Blake and sent Aaron Barrett down because he had options left. So you send a guy down that has options, and we all knew it was only a matter of time before he's back because of that pitch right there, the slider.
Wow. Ian Stewart could only have it buckle him and then walk away, 1 out.
And you just get a feeling by looking at him, the frame, the stuff, the makeup, this guy's going to be a major league closer sometime soon. And these two pitches play fastball mid-90s and just a nuclear slider at times.
Yeah, you talk about a guy with a violent delivery, but he does it under control. That fastball gets on a hitter in a hurry at 95.
Change up right there. I don't remember him throwing that first time around. Here's the violent delivery you're talking about, Cart. All kinds of stuff going on.
When you can do that and throw strikes, that's really something.
Well, the only thing he's missing for the closer starter kid is to get that beard to grow a little bit longer. The Future Closers of America Club. Yeah, he's got the look.
After the foul ball, J.B. Shuck stepping out. Leon giving him some time. Shuck is 1 for 4 with a double that started the game and got the Angels going on what might be the decisive rally of the night, a 4-run first. They would have to get one more base runner for Pujols to bat for a 5th time tonight. And Danny Espinosa on the move. 2 down.
You can follow every Nationals game with MLB.com app on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Give live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download the app at the App Store or visit Nationals.com today.
That one low and in.
It's a good test for a young pitcher, right?
Absolutely. Trout 1 for 4 tonight, 2 runs scored. His 3rd hit of the series. And by the way, one guy we haven't talked about in this series yet, our old friend Sean Burnett on the DL.
Well, I said hi to him last night.
Left elbow surgery.
He's a good Nat. We miss him. Said as much last night. I'll say it again. He was a big part of that 2012 NL East championship. The unsung hero that came in with the boring, uneventful innings all season long, and his left arm was barking at the end. And he did whatever he could to get out there, and we'll always remember that. It's a great guy. We miss him.
Yeah, key guy in that mostly right-handed bullpen. He carried the Nats to the playoffs. A 3-1 to Mike Trout. And he thought that Barrett was working too quickly and asked to step out. And he will take a fastball high in the zone, 3-2.
Well, we had the matchup the other night with Giancarlo Stanton and Barrett with the game on the line. He won that battle. Stanton was frustrated, threw his bat down. We had the shot of Barrett looking at him. But how about this, too? You're facing, arguably the best player in the game. And you strike him out.
With a slider, even up and in. So a 1-2-3 9th inning for Aaron Barrett. Welcome back to Washington. Young man, we can't wait to see your future.
against the Angels, 7-2. LA leading it. Couple of monster home runs tonight from Albert Pujols. That's the story. Johnny Holiday with Ray Knight. A lot of things to talk about on our post game. Aaron Barrett did a nice job. Craig Stammen did a nice job for this club coming out of the pen.
That a baby, Johnny. Pick out the good things, no doubt about it. Stammen threw the ball great, 2 innings, shut down the Angels, and then Barrett showed you why he will be a closer one day on this team, probably. Whenever Soriano's contract's up, I would imagine whatever role he plays, he's going to be somebody, if he stays healthy, that is going to do a lot of damage to those hitters' bats over there. He's fantastic.
Raymond runs awfully tough to come by these 2 games, and hits.
I was behind on plate tonight, Johnny, and Skaggs, he's not that tough from back there. He's kept throwing a cutter into right-handed hitters, and they had a tough time figuring it out early. A lot of people swinging at that ball in there. A couple of balls hit really hard to third and short, but when he had to, he went to a little sinker, 86-mile-an-hour sinker, and a flop curveball. The curveball never really came into play as far as strikes, but he did show it to some hitters and threw an occasional changeup. This ball club's just not gelling right now offensively.
Nats need some runs, need some hits, and hopefully we'll be back after the final out of this game to talk about maybe somehow, some way the Nats can pull this out. Let's go back up to Bob and FP.
All right, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ray. Rendon, Desmond, Harper, bottom of the 9th. And the new pitcher will be 29-year-old Kevin Jepsen. So through his 8 appearances, it'll be his 9th. A 7.11 ERA with 7 hits, 5 runs in just over 6 innings. Struck out 10, but he's walked 4.
He likes the changeup at 85. Fastball averages 94. And he has a curveball that he throws 10% of the time.
Anthony Rendon sees him for the first time. So will Desmond and Harper. Fastball. Rendon hits it hard the other way, and it is Cowgill on the track to pull it in. Boy, Anthony's had some really good but unlucky at bats lately in this series. Tomorrow night, it'll be on the left arm of Gio, and hopefully some run support. But a tough customer for the Nats to deal with as well. Jared Weaver, not off to a great start. 1-2 with a 4.74 ERA, but the American League only hitting a .195 against him so far.
I bet you Gio's telling Aaron Barrett, hey, you just struck out Mike Trout. Do you get that? I mean, for a young player, that's the measuring stick to where you start going up against some of the elite guys in the league, and you get them out, your confidence level skyrockets.
Well, you know why Gio's hanging out with him. That kid's going to save a lot of games for him someday.
Yeah.
Be nice to your future closer. Ian Desmond 0 for 3 in the series. 1 for 7 with a 9th inning solo shot last night. And Ian got jammed on that running fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just look at the nights of Worth and Rendon. They hit the ball hard every single time up. Worth had the double his first time to show, but that's it.
And Desmond to a knee, unable to get that one. 2 outs. And it'll be another chance for Bryce Harper to try to get something going in this series. Bryce 0 for 3 tonight. He's going to paint near the knees on the outside corner.
You can tell Bryce's reaction. He didn't like the call.
That's a nasty late breaker. And the Angels within 1 strike of winning the series. Last night, 7-2 tonight.
Be interested to see what lineup Matt Williams puts out there tomorrow, because he needs some energy from his ball club, and they're trying to, as you say, salvage a win against the Angels. The Angels take the series, and
not a single hit after the 3rd inning tonight, and one of the 3 hits a bunt by Taylor Jordan. So the Nats drop it. 7-9-0 Angels, 2-3-2 Nationals. Albert Pujols drives in 5 of their 7 runs tonight. Gio tomorrow night against Jared Weaver in a marquee pitching matchup. Johnny and Ray at 6:30, and now this has been a presentation of Masson. Nats Extra coming right up from the ballpark, where a little history was made tonight. So long for just a while.